Alright, welcome to episode 101 of the 2 Minute Warning. Today it's just me, Jay. As Carson said in the previous video, it's Thanksgiving break for us. We're not living together, so we're obviously splitting up and do a couple of videos individually. We'll be back together in no time. On the table today, we got breaking news. Montrezl Harrell signs with the Los Angeles Lakers. I think this is a huge and amazing move for the Lakers. It's almost kind of funny. The Clippers might be signing Rajon Rondo, so they're both saying, you take my guy, we'll take yours. In my opinion, if the Clippers do sign Rajon Rondo, I would take overall the Lakers' moves between signing Dennis Schruder and Montrezl Harrell, or trading for Dennis Schruder and Montrezl Harrell versus the Clippers just getting Rondo. That's a lot more depth and a lot more star power between those two guys and old man Rondo, who, yes, is playoff Rondo, but regular season, he could cause an injury and not even be in the playoffs. He is old and he is injury prone. I don't know if I was living under a rock or I just didn't hear about it, or I did not know Montrezl Harrell and the Lakers were even talking. I didn't know it was a rumor. I didn't think it was happening at all. I didn't even, like I said, I don't know. I thought the Lakers might either re-sign Dwight Howard, but Dwight Howard actually turned out to go to the 76ers. Great move by Doc Rivers recruiting him, in my opinion. Dwight Howard could still be a solid role player. The Lakers did re-sign JaVale McGee. That was a good move. And I also thought they might sign Serge Ibaka. I'm not saying that's completely out of the question, but I do think that's more unlikely now. Serge Ibaka would have been a great sign, but I like Montrezl Harrell better. I mean, he's a reigning Sixth Man of the Year. You don't get that award on accident. That was the sixth man of the year on the Clippers roster, and he wasn't even with LeBron. And everyone knows LeBron makes everyone around him better. He could be an all-star with LeBron. I mean, that's a little bold to say, but it's not out of the possibilities. The only concern that if you had to pick one is who's going to play where. I mean, in my opinion, because Anthony Davis doesn't like to play center and Montrezl Harrell is only 6'8", he can't really play center. Like we saw the Rockets, they didn't have a huge center or big man. They lost and didn't even make it past the second round. My opinion, this is going to force LeBron to possibly play point guard again, and the one might move Dennis Schruder to the 2. Interchanging Dallas Caruso. It would be huge if the Lakers could re-sign Avery Bradley. I see that being unlikely, but because he did opt out, but it's not impossible. I guess Kuzma saw forward. I mean, anyone can interchange there. There is a lot of time left to sign guys. We don't know who they're going to re-sign. I doubt they re-sign JR, Dion Waiters, or KCP, but this would make this layout plan a lot easier to predict. And then you got Harrell and Howard at the forward, and I would assume JaVale McGee takes a larger role at center, just between Kuzma, McGee, Montrezl Harrell, and Anthony Davis having to fill 2 forwards in a center spot. Anything can really happen. I don't want to say they're all interchangeable because you're not going to have Kuzma and McGee, the 2 lesser of those 4, interchange by any means, but overall, they'll work it out. I'm not the coach. They'll figure it out. Really, in my opinion, this might be one of the most deepest teams LeBron's played with talent-wise. I mean, he's had D Wade, Chris Bosh, Ray Allen. That's one of the best you could really get. And then the Cavs, Kevin Love, Kyrie Irving, Tristan Thompson. I don't want to say JR in his good days, but in his better days. And don't forget about the GOAT. Deladova and Timothy Mavgaz, but now he does have a really good team around him as well, including depth. Dennis Schruder, Alex Caruso, Kuzma, Anthony Davis, JaVale McGee, Montrezl Harrell, and that's just a lot of star power that I don't want to say they're all in the prime, but Anthony Davis is in his prime, Montrezl Harrell is in his prime, LeBron is never not in his prime, Kuzma's still developing but can get there, Dennis Schroeder's in his prime, Caruso's a freaking GOAT. I mean, you just really can't get better. I mean, if the Lakers do somehow, Rondo doesn't go to the Clippers and they re-sign him, I think it'd be safe to say there's no reason they don't go back-to-back unless somehow Harden is traded to the Nets. I think the entire freaking highway is open for the Lakers to go back-to-back and LeBron get his 5th ring. Even if they don't get Rondo and Rondo goes to the Hawks where he's not going to do anything and compete with LeBron. If he went to the Clippers, obviously they'd be fighting playing each other, and it'd be pretty close contention. But if he goes somewhere else like the Hawks, where he's not any threat to LeBron or the finals, the Lakers just look good. And like I said, unless some super team like the Nets come out, and even if they don't sign Harden, Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant and DeAndre Jordan are definitely going to be problems. So it's going to be interesting to see. But my overall thesis is no matter what the Lakers do from here, even if they just keep the team they have now after Montrezl Harrell signing, they can't really ask for much more, and they can't really have any lesser hopes than going back-to-back. I mean, I would arguably say this roster is better than who they had last year, especially in the bubble. They didn't even have Avery Bradley, who a great defensive point guard for the Lakers. Even if they don't keep him, obviously he didn't help in the championship, in the bubble, in the finals, in the playoffs then. Overall thesis, I'm going to have to predict this Montrezl Harrell thing puts them at, if they weren't already front runners, guaranteed front runners for the NBA Finals back-to-back. Overall, we're looking for sponsorships. Lucky Charms, shout out to you. We're open 2 in the morning.